everyone, welcome to the next video in this little series of 6 from Tiny Year by Agotapop, the Colouring Heaven magazine. We're on page 11, our March pictures. We have just the cutest picture to do today. The sun is pouring in, so I'm not sure what the camera's going to do, whether it's going to make everything a bit dark to allow for it or what, but hopefully it'll be okay. It does look rather dark. It's always hard to tell with the little screen. Anyway, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to have a little think. I'm using Black Widow pencils, as I have done for the other 3 pictures on this page. And if you don't have them, I do have some comparison charts for other pencils, I think, with Black Widows. I think. So you might be able to do that. If you can't find what you need, let me know. I'll see if I can help you. Right, barrow. Now, I'm always not sure. I feel that this bit should be metal, and then this bit, yeah, they're usually metal, but sometimes they're made of wood. I think I might do this in grey, this bit, or this, as if it's metal. I think that's how I want to do it. So I'm going to start with a light grey. The gunmetal is quite light. I think we used that already. But, oh, it's getting very warm in here. It's really sunny, as I said. Just been out and I'm really hot. So I've managed to have, it is 1:20 in the afternoon, and I've managed to have 3 walks today already. Can you believe? Well, I tried to go out first thing with one of my sons, and he seems to just benefit. His mood really lifts if he walks, so I take him out. And we had to go to the supermarket, so we just popped along the road to there, and I wanted to get some sweet potatoes and mushrooms to make. We make a dish called the mushroom thing. It's a great name. I'm so inventive. But basically, cook some sweet potatoes and then add mushrooms, some sort of greens, whatever I happen to have, and then peas. I use frozen peas and some borlotti beans, put tomato and a little bit of stock on it, and just mix it up, and it makes a sort of mushroomy beany thing. I don't know, we haven't got a name, as I say. We rather enjoy it, and I'm going to use the dim grey. Now that's the medium grey. I've picked out the wrong one, and you know what, I think that's a much better colour. To do silver, we did it for the paintbrush, didn't we, in this combo. So what I'm trying to do is put some shadowing in to make it look a bit more shiny. So we're going to put some in here and then fade that a bit like that. So I went out with him, we did those got those groceries, and that was good. And then sort of mid-morning, I guess, husband says, I'm going to go to the art shop. And now husband needs to walk with his DVD, and he's not always that good. So I said, should I walk with you? He probably wouldn't have walked on his own. He went, I was going to go in the car, but yeah, we can walk. So walk with him. It's not a far walk, but we had a little walk, and talked to a man in a hole. I'll tell you about that later. Very exciting. And then my other son, I said to him, you know, you really should have a walk midweek. It's been off for uni this week, they both have. And I said, you know, you can't not walk at all week. And he's like, I know. So he said, I'll walk with you about 1 o'clock. I said, okay. So we'd already planned this yesterday, but actually we just walked as soon as we'd finished lunch. We ate lunch quite early. So we walked straight after lunch. And the walk I did with him, my golly, he said, I want to go up the hill, I want to see a nice view. I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just outlining this metal bit. I think it will look a bit better if the edges are a little bit darker. So went up the hill, well, not all the way up to the top, thank goodness. And we were walking up, and there's some new houses being built, so nosy me was quite interested in having a little look at that, and we were trying to work out where the driveway would be and things like that, so it was quite fun. And then opposite, sort of almost opposite them, there was a footpath. I said, I've never been up there, and he said, I know where that leads. And I said to him, have you been up here with your friends? And he sort of went, And then we got to the top. He said, I've never been up there before. I was like, oh, okay. His friend lives up near there, one of his friends. And anyway, so we went up, and it came out on a slightly different road. No, it came out where he thought it would, in the road that his friend lives. So he'd seen the other end of it, so he's guessed that's where it went. But it was very, very steep. I had stopped midway. My Fit apps said that I've done enough heart points for today, but I was sure when I was climbing up that hill and puffing and blowing as you do, it probably didn't record any heart points because I was going too slow, but it was certainly got my heart rate up. So, but it was worth it at the top because the view. Now, it's not, we looked out over the town, so we saw all the houses and different things. We were trying to work out, we're going, oh, I know that house is there and that's that road. And, you know, we were doing that sort of thing, which was great fun. And so that was nice, but it wasn't a long walk, but none of them were. It was only 7,000 steps in all, but I feel like I've had a good workout. I'm walking loads more, and it's interesting because I said to someone the other day that I had been doing 2 walks a day sort of thing, and she said, I don't have the time. And I said, no, nor me really. I'd got a little bit behind in my video recording. But actually, I'm pretty much back on track now. I don't think me getting behind was actually to do with me walking. I think it was more to do with other things that were going on that I was doing as well. So it was great. And I just put that back in the wrong place. So I'm just putting my pencils back in my case. Now, this part here, I got this little heart on it. We've got this, so I'm quite like to do that pink, the heart, all red. I think it'd be rather nice. And the handle, I think I'm going to go blue and pink. I think that'll work. So let's have a little look at our, at our blues. That's pretty. Ocean, that's what I'm going to use. It just looks pretty. There it is. It's from the Monarch. I mean, it doesn't matter what blue you use, or if you even use blue. I just am doing something that I think will, because I'm not going to do blue flowers, so I figured that blue would work. I'm just going to put a light layer of this blue over most of this, obviously not doing it over the heart and these little leaf shapes. Not sure. I might just do them in the heart colour. I haven't decided yet. I'm just going to gently fill this in. Yes, so the whole story, so at the top of our road there's been there's a sinkhole, and they put a temporary cover over it. I think it's been there for nearly a year, and so put a temporary cover over it. They did some investigative works and then covered it over. I don't know why this is so blobby. It feels like there's something underneath. There is, I can feel, oh, it's this bumblebee wings. Right, I'm going to have to, right, here's my planner. I'm going to shove that underneath there. Then I'm not going to be leaning on bumblebee wings. Okay. Yeah, that's the problem with stickles. I remember when I did them, I thought it was a risk. So it might get a bit blobby, but never mind. So anyway, so this hole has been there, and they every so often they tighten the plate that's covering it, because cars drive over it and it moves, and it makes a really loud noise. And every so often there's a form that you can fill in for the council to say there's a problem with the road, so I fill that in every so often and go, look, it's really noisy, can you come and fix it, type thing. I'm just looking for a darker colour. It's not finished, it's messy, I know. I'm going to use the Blue Moon, if I can find it. There it is. Blue Moon. I need to sharpen it, and I'm just going to mark in some darker bits just to help me a little bit. So I spoke to the chappie in the hole. Well, there was quite a few of them chaps about. We figured in the end that he must have been the foreman, because he was doing nothing. And he said there's a man right down underneath there fixing the problem. What the problem was that the sewer pipe, there was a hole and it had electricity cables there, and then underneath that was the sewer pipe in a culvert, and so the pipe had been put through the culvert, and there was a hole. I'm not sure if the hole was in the culvert of the pipe. I didn't quite, I'm just fading this in a bit. I didn't quite understand which, but it basically is a hole, and of course when water leaks it creates all sorts of damage, and the leaking water had caused the sinkhole in the road. We're back using the ocean, and I'm going to sort of go over what I've done and try and just make it all a little bit darker. So he said, I said, is this sort of going to be a fix for good? And he said, we hope so. So basically the poor man down the hole had a carbon monoxide detector on his hat, and it was connected to one above ground as well, and they were keeping an eye on it all the time. So if there was too much carbon monoxide, they would hoist him up. He would get a warning, he would stick his mask on, and they would hoist him up quick and get him out of there. So it was all a bit hairy, I thought, but anyway, it was really great that it's being fixed. And because it's they're sort of into the lane of a road. This is a busy A road that it's on, and which is probably why it's been such a problem, because there's so much traffic. So as soon as you've got a bit of unsteady ground underneath, it's going to collapse. There's lorries and all sorts going over it. And anyway, so yeah, there's these temporary traffic lights, and the traffic is queuing for miles, literally miles. So it's just bonkers. And then as we were walking along, there's a little side road, and a car was trying to go in while another one was trying to come out, and there wasn't room because of the fencing around the roadworks. And a whole change of lights went by while they were sort of shuffling and shifting, and I thought, oh my goodness, those cars are going to be queuing for hours. And everyone driving by looks really miserable because they've been sitting there for 3 or 4 changes of 4-way lights, you know. It's like, oh, poor people. So I was glad we went on foot. So here is Blue Moon again. I'm going to use that for this little handle. I'm going to also use it on that corner there. So so yes, so that was when we went to the art shop. We did that. I didn't buy anything from the art shop. Husband wanted a wrap for his Japanese brushes. He's just got into this sort of Japanese brushes. They're beautiful, I have to say, the art you do with them. And I remember actually when I was younger, I had a go at doing it. I'm just going to put these blues away, and then we'll move on and do some pot. No, we'll do the heart next. Now I want just the right shade of pink, so let me have a look. A pretty pink would be rather nice. Where's that? That's there it is. Whoops. Pretty pink. It's a bit blunt. I give it a sharpen. So yes, he bought this wrap, and it was like a rolling mat for sushi, but it's got linen sewn on the side of it, and with little pouches, so you can just slip your brushes into it. If you do any of this sort of painting, you would probably know about them anyway, but I didn't, because when I remember my mum had this sort of calligraphy set that she was using for this sort of painting, and I wanted to have a go, but she wouldn't let me use her bits and bobs because I was too young. So and I just thought that was terribly unfair. Now I completely understand. And so I tried it with a normal paintbrush and some watercolours and things, and I remember having a great time. I mean, I'm not very good at painting and things like that, but I really enjoyed it, and that's all that matters, isn't it? Now, plant pots. I was thinking I could go with the terracotta colour of a normal, you know, traditional plant pot, but I've decided I want to make it look a little bit more pretty, so I'm going to go for some pinks instead. I think it'll just lift the picture a bit more, and you can get these pots if you buy plastic ones in any colour. So I'm going to go for a lighter pink. I think the Lady Jane might be a good one. Is that one? That's Bliss. Bliss. Well, yeah. As I grab this one, I'm going to go for this one. It's called Bliss. So a little bit lighter. If it's too light, I'll swap or add another colour. But it is. I just want it to look different to this pink. yeah, so he bought this. So I enjoyed that type of painting. So I hope he was playing with it this morning, saying how it was so fascinating that with the Japanese brushes, you can, if you press really lightly, you get a really thin line. If you press really hard, you get a really fat line. He said doesn't really get that with a normal paintbrush. I mean, he's been using ink with it, of course. Well, I say of course, I mean, you can, maybe not. But he was finding it really interesting and having fun playing with it, which was good. He's also been able to get his medication sorted out this morning at long last. So that was a big relief to him. And his cold is getting better, so all is good. All is good in husband land. So that was nice. I think that's a rather pretty pink, to be honest. I do feel like we need a little bit of darker colour just under here, and I'm not going to be able to get that with this. So I think I am going to use the Lady Jane. The one I said I was going to use it, then I changed my mind. And it's a bit darker, so we can do that little bit of shadowing. I will need to sharpen it though. So yes, I saw some lovely pretty things on my various walks. Lady Jane, whoops. The hawthorn is out in blossom. It's so beautiful. It's a white blossom. It maybe there's a tinge of pink, I'm never quite sure, but little tiny blossoms, just so beautiful. And I love looking along the hedgerows, and you've got what we call sticky buds, like little leaf buds just starting to come out, and some of them are sprouting. You've got the beautiful new spring green buds, just gorgeous. Sorry, blow nose. And my son was pointing out to me how green the path, as we walked up this steep hill, he said it's so green over there. Because one side was housing and the other side there was like it looked like a woodland almost. It was a really narrow stretch. But there were trees, but under the trees was loads of wild garlic. It wasn't in flower, I couldn't smell the garlic, but the leaves, beautiful dark green leaves, really pretty. So it just, I felt so spoiled. It was all just so beautiful. Now this pot here, I think maybe I'll do in an alternative shade of pink. Let's have a little look. Might go for Crimson Stone. I'm just trying to see where it is. Is it here? No. Oh, that looks quite dark. Maybe it'll be okay. I'll just put it on gently. Might be a little, I do want it to be a bit darker than what we've done already. But yes, it was a super walk. And this morning, to top it, well, to start the day on a high, it was snowing. And the snow, there was snow unlike any snow that I've seen before. It didn't settle. Well, barely, you know, a little bit, and then it melted. But the flakes, some of the flakes just looked like feathers. I've never seen feathery snow like that. They were sort of this big, huge and flat and just slightly curved like that. I've never seen anything like it. I was thinking to myself, if that was rain, what would it have fallen like? But of course it just would have been completely different. That's a bit reddish. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, it's done now. So I got up. Now the snow was forecast between 8 and 10. When I got up, I picked up my tablet and it said, I'm just trying to choose a purple for these flowers. I want them to be purple. I think the amethyst might be a good choice. It said wintry mix, and I was like, what's that mean? I mean, it means sleet, I suppose. So I was like, oh, okay. So we're going to have some sleet. And then I was the first one up, and I went downstairs. I was doing a few little fiddly bits on my computer, checking emails and, you know, posting about videos and things like that. And I glanced up and it was snowing hard. I was like, oh, snowing. Got very excited. Messaged everyone to tell them it was snowing even though they were all still in bed. Look outside, it's exciting. All that. And then these giant flakes started falling. And Me and my husband were getting quite excited about it, having never seen them. My son was like, oh, my other son missed it because he was in bed. He didn't care, he'd rather be in bed. Teenagers. But anyway, so there was that snow. So it was quite cold when I was out, but it was sunny. I'm quite warm now. I'm just beginning to cool off again. But it's certainly big coat weather. Although my son was like, it's 6 degrees. I only need a raincoat. What are you on about, Mum? She says, he says, as I kept my cardigan on, put on a thick pashmina and my duffel coat. I did get quite hot walking up that hill, but you know, I was glad of it. The wind was quite biting. Now the centres of these I'm going to do before I forget. I think I'm just going to grab the lemonade. So adventures today. So yes, so we'll walk first thing to the supermarket. We didn't see very much of interest because we walked along the road because it's so muddy along the canal path, and it was snowing. It had just stopped snowing actually by the time we went out. Tulips. Oh, I was going to do them purple, and those are purple. And what am I going to do? What colour are tulips? I could do some peachy colour, but I don't. Will it go with the pot? Will it matter? Does it need to? Red. Let's do red. Tulips are red, aren't they? Watermelon. That's a good colour. Where are you, watermelon? Is it that one? No, that's lady. There it is. Now this is a slightly pinky red. I think it'll work well. Watermelon. Haven't seen any tulips yet. I guess it's a little bit, need to sharpen. A little bit early. Seen lots of daffodils on my walk today and all week. And my daffodils are opening that my father-in-law gave me the other day. And interestingly, most of them are the sort of traditional yellow leaves with yellow trumpet type ones, which I like. One of them has opened now, and it's a white leaves with orangey trumpet, almost ready orange trumpet. So we've got one that's different to all the rest, which is interesting. But of course he's picking them from his garden. He's got no idea what's what really. I remember his sister planting loads one year. They grow in his lawn. He's just got loads throughout his garden. Yeah, and as I say, I remember his sister planting loads one year when we were there. She bought him the bulbs as a gift. I think, not being any sort of a gardener at all, that after a while they don't always flower. So maybe she was sort of doing new bulbs to refresh them. I mean, my parents always take their bulbs in for the winter. They take them out of their pots and then replant them the next year. Whereas he doesn't do that because they're planted in the ground, in the grass. He just leaves them and they just come up year after year. I guess it depends. But I think my parents take their bulbs out because they start to look scruffy, and what they do is they take them out with the greenery still attached and then leave them to sort of dry out, and apparently it puts the goodness back into the bulb. And it clears their pot out ready to put their summer bedding in or something like that, I'm thinking. Whereas father-in-law just cuts his grass around the tulip daffodils. If he cuts it at all, he doesn't cut all of his lawn that much. Some of it, there's one patch he cuts a lot. It's his sort of bit by his patio, and that always stays nice. There's no flowers in that bit. I'm just choosing a colour. I think that's a bit too bright. I'm going to use the grub green if I can find it. There it is. A sort of neutral green. This is for the tulips. And then yes, on other parts of his grass where he's got trees and things, he tends to not cut it with his regular lawnmower. He tends to get his neighbour to come and do it with his tractor. Yes, he lives in the country. And yeah, he's got a few acres. It's a lot of work. He does have a gardener now to help him at times. I think his gardener went back to uni though, or college or something. So, or yeah, I think he was on a gap year, his gardener. So, so now he's needs to find someone else. We have already done so, I don't know. But he still likes to do it, but it's so much work. So he does bits and pieces, and then, you know, even mowing the lawn on the ride-on mower is hard work. So I wouldn't want to mow lawns. Okay, I think I want a darker green for these two leaves. What have we got? Maybe the forest. Where are you? There you are. Here we go, forest. And yeah, it's a lot of garden. I don't like gardening. I find it so exhausting. But maybe if I'm getting a bit fitter, but it isn't really about the physical exertion as much as the bending and stretching and things like that, which hurt my back. So I don't like to do a lot. Hence my garden is mainly just gravel, and there isn't a lot of planting going on. And there's lots of weed barrier to stop weeds growing. I'm going to do these ones here the same as those there. I just feel like they look like they're the same. Might not be, but why not? So yes, what else did we see flower wise? There was the hawthorn, the little daffodils. I saw some cheerfulness in someone's garden. It's a fabulous name. I think that's what they're called. They're like it's like a sort of daffodil, but they're all lots of little ones, really small, on a stem. So you get 6 to 8 on one stem. Now we have this next little clump of flowers, which is very cute. I think I'm gonna do this in a sort of peachy orange colour, I think. Yeah. What have we got? Oh, the toadstool. Oh, the sherbet. I found the toadstool first, so that's what it's going to be. Toadstool. It's really blunt. Let's give it a sharpen. Oh, sounds like husband has finished cleaning the kitchen. My son went out for our walk, and he said he would clear up the kitchen. And we came back, and he was still halfway through it. He'd done the same amount. He was doing the dishwasher, and the food needed putting away that had been left out, and just, you know, unstacking, restacking the dishwasher. And he put the telly on and got himself very distracted, but he'll be getting his ADHD meds back soon, so that will be a little bit better. He won't be as bad. He still does get distracted with them, but it's a little bit better. I am going to use the grass blade for the greenery on this. I'm just going to have a slurp of my coffee. I brought it in with me, which is always a risk. Oh, that's better. Here we go, grass blade. I can use it for this and the grass down here, I think. So I'm going to do circular movements and try and do some areas a bit darker and some areas a bit lighter, so we get a whole mix of texture, hopefully. And I'm hoping it looks intentional rather than messy. Hopefully. Oh, my phone's ringing. I think I left it downstairs. I'm nearly done. I'll go and it's probably spam. No one phones me on my mobile. I'll go and investigate in a minute. I usually put the number online. You can search phone numbers and it'll tell you whether it's a spam call or not, but I'm pretty certain it would be. Right, I am going to leave that there. That was it's such a cute drawing. I'm really pleased with how it's come out. You know, there's always a little bit of pressure when you really like a drawing to wonder if it's going to quite come out as you'd hoped, and I'm happy with that, so that's good. So thank you for watching today. I hope that you have a really lovely day, and happy colouring.